You finally did it! You opened your heart, walked into that shelter, and brought home a rescue dog. And for a moment, everything felt perfect. But then, the growling started. Or maybe your dog froze completely and refused to move. Or they started doing this strange, repetitive pacing that made you genuinely wonder if something was seriously wrong. And suddenly, that beautiful moment turned into a quiet panic.
Here's what nobody tells you before you adopt a rescue dog. Most of the behaviors that look the most alarming, the ones that make you question everything, are actually completely normal responses from a dog who's been through a lot. You're not failing as a pet parent. Your dog isn't broken. In this situation, it's far more common than you think.
Today, I'm going to walk you through 7 rescue dog behaviors that look scary but are totally normal, and I'll explain exactly what's happening inside your dog's mind when they do each one. Stay with me because understanding these behaviors is going to completely change how you see your new companion. Let's start with the one that scares new rescue parents the most: growling, especially at you. You reach down to pet your dog, or maybe you move too quickly near their food bowl, and suddenly you hear it, that low, rumbling growl. Your first instinct is probably concern, but here's what's actually happening. Growling is communication, not aggression. For a rescue dog who may have experienced unpredictable humans or unsafe environments before, growling is their way of saying, "I'm not comfortable right now." Think about it this way. A dog who growls is still talking to you. They're giving you a warning instead of going straight to a reaction. That's actually a sign of emotional intelligence, not danger. The reality is, you should never correct or punish growling in a rescue dog. If you do, you remove their warning system. And a dog with no warning system becomes genuinely unpredictable. So when your rescue growls, take it as information. Back off gently, give them space, and let them approach you on their own terms. Over time, as trust builds, the growling almost always fades on its own. Now, because growling and body language are so closely connected, this brings us to something equally confusing: the complete shutdown, when your dog just freezes and shuts down entirely. You call their name and they don't move. You put food in front of them and they ignore it. You try to take them for a walk and they plant their paws and refuse to budge. To most people, this looks like stubbornness, but it's not stubbornness at all. This is called emotional shutdown, and it's one of the most common trauma responses in rescue dogs. When a dog has experienced unpredictable or overwhelming environments, their nervous system sometimes goes into a kind of protective freeze mode. It's the same reason humans go quiet under extreme discomfort. Did you know that this response is directly linked to the dog's stress hormone cortisol? Pink, research in animal behavior shows that rescue dogs can experience elevated cortisol levels for weeks to months after adoption, even in a safe, loving home. So if your dog seems emotionally distant or unresponsive in those first weeks, that's not a red flag. That's a dog who needs time to decompress. Be patient, keep the environment calm, and let them move at their own pace. And because decompression takes time, don't be surprised when the shutdown gives way to something completely different and equally confusing. The Zoomies, but not the fun kind. You've probably seen the classic Zoomies, that sudden burst of running in circles that looks hilarious. But rescue dog Zoomies can look different. Sometimes it's frantic. Sometimes it happens at strange hours, like 2 a.m. Sometimes your dog runs in tight, repetitive circles that feel more anxious than playful. Here's the issue. This is your dog releasing pent-up stress and nervous energy. Rescue dogs often carry enormous amounts of emotional tension in their bodies. And just like humans who pace when they're overwhelmed, dogs release that tension through movement. This is totally normal, and it's actually a healthy sign. It means your dog's nervous system is processing and releasing, not holding everything in. The best thing you can do? Let it happen safely in a secure space, avoid trying to stop or correct it, and give gentle affirmation when it passes. Which brings me to a behavior that happens in a completely different direction. When your dog isn't running, but is instead completely fixated on something invisible, staring at walls or into empty corners. This one genuinely freaks people out. Your dog is just staring at nothing, completely still, intensely focused on a blank wall. Before you spiral into worst-case thinking, here's what the science actually says. Dogs have an incredibly powerful sensory system. They can hear frequencies up to 65,000 hertz compared to a human's 20,000 hertz. They can detect vibrations through walls that we simply cannot perceive. Point: what looks like your dog staring at nothing is almost always your dog detecting something, a sound, a vibration, a scent trail that your senses can't register. In rescue dogs, this behavior can also be a form of hypervigilance, which is an extremely common stress response. After living in unpredictable situations, some dogs stay in a constant state of high alert, scanning for potential threats. It looks strange, but it makes complete sense when you understand where they came from. Now, speaking of hypervigilance, that same anxiety response shows up in a very different way at nighttime. Hey friend, restlessness and inability to sleep, especially at night. Your rescue dog wanders, circles the room, can't settle, lies down, gets up, lies down again. You're exhausted and you genuinely don't know what's wrong. Here's what's happening. Rescue dogs often have deeply disrupted sleep patterns as a result of their past environments. Shelters are loud, unpredictable, and rarely feel safe at night. Many rescue dogs have never experienced true, secure rest before. So learning to feel safe enough to actually sleep, that takes time. Studies on canine behavior suggest that some rescue dogs take 4 to 6 weeks to begin establishing normal sleep rhythms in a new home. The best approach is to give them a consistent sleeping spot, a soft crate or bed that feels enclosed and secure, and a predictable nighttime routine. Predictability is everything for a rescue dog learning to trust. And because trust is at the heart of all of this, the next behavior makes complete sense once you understand it. Resource guarding, growling, stiffening, or hovering over food, toys, or even you. This looks scary, and honestly, if it escalates, it does need to be addressed with care. But in the beginning stages, it's almost always a fear response, not dominance. A rescue dog who guards resources has often had to compete for survival, for food, for safety, for space. When they hover over their bowl or stiffen when you approach their toy, they're not trying to challenge you, they're protecting what feels scarce to them. The solution is never punishment. Instead, practice trade exercises. Offer something better in exchange for what they're guarding, so they learn that approaching humans means good things happen. Over time, this retrains the emotional response at the root of the behavior. And that root issue, the emotional history your dog is carrying, leads us to the final behavior on this list, the one that surprises people the most because it doesn't look scary at first. It actually looks sweet. Extreme Velcro behavior, following you from room to room, never wanting to leave your side. At first, it feels flattering. Your rescue dog loves you so much. But then they start showing visible distress the moment you leave the room. The whining, the scratching at the door, the accidents that only happen when you step out. This is called separation anxiety, and it's incredibly common in rescue dogs. Here's what's really happening. Your dog has finally found safety in you, and the thought of losing that safety triggers genuine panic in their nervous system. It's not manipulation. It's not a behavior problem in the traditional sense. It's a dog who has experienced loss and is terrified of going through it again. The most effective approach combines gradual desensitization, practicing very short separations and slowly extending them, with creating positive associations around your departures.
A special treat that only appears when you leave? A calming scent on their bed? A consistent routine that signals I'm coming back? These small things build massive trust over time. Here's the bottom line. Rescue dogs aren't difficult, they're healing. Every growl, every freeze, every sleepless night is your dog's history speaking out loud. And the fact that you're here trying to understand it instead of giving up, that already makes you exactly the kind of pet parent they needed.
If this video helped you see your rescue dog in a new light, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more pet parents who need this information. Drop a comment below and tell me which behavior your rescue dog has shown. I read every single one. And if you want to go even deeper on rescue dog behavior and training, subscribe to Pawsitive Pet Place and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Your dog chose you. Now let's make sure you have everything you need to choose them back every single day.